I really feel with this competition, especially this year with a strong female representation, that was a very good sign for other female, and I feel the impact will be very strong in the future, because seeing 5 female doing really well, it's a good motive for other female to compete or consider it more as something which is a career that they can follow. So definitely we haven't realized the impact of it, but it's quite strong.
Welcome to the Italian Wine Podcast. I'm Cynthia Chaplin, and this is Voices. Every Wednesday, I will be sharing conversations with international wine industry professionals, discussing issues in diversity, equity, and inclusion through their personal experiences working in the field of wine. If you enjoy the show, please subscribe and rate our show wherever you get your pods. Hello and welcome to Voices. This is Cynthia Chaplin, and today I am so happy to welcome Maria Boumpa to Voices. Maria is the head sommelier and wine buyer at renowned 2 Michelin-starred Da Terra Restaurant in London. And just 4 weeks ago, she was crowned the International Wine and Spirits Competition Sommelier of the Year. So first of all, huge congratulations. Thank you so much for talking to us today.
And thank you for having me, Cynthia. I'm glad to be here with you.
It's a pleasure. What a great accomplishment. So well done you. I am so happy to talk to you today. I really want to get the backstory of this. You're from Greece and you studied economics at the University of Ioannina, and you're young and you really only started your career in food and wine sort of 10 years ago. So how did you go from being a young economist in Greece to becoming the IWSC Sommelier of the Year in London? What made you go into wine? How did this happen?
Well, that's a very interesting journey and not very conventional, let's say, either. So I was studying economics in Greece, where I'm from, and I was working in the same time to support my studies. And I started working in a bar first, and then I ended up in a 5-star hotel, which is where I'm from, in Metsovo. So it's a mountainous region in Greece. And I liked it a lot, and I felt that it's very interesting, it's very diverse, every day is different. So I decided to make it a full-time career. And I was not very keen to work in economics because I was very good with studying, but I found it a bit boring. So yeah, I completed my studies, I was fine with that, I had good grades, but it was not for me, let's say. I needed something a bit more exciting, I thought. So I started working in this 5-star hotel. Then I ended up in Mykonos doing 2 seasons because I wanted a more international, let's say, career. And Mykonos is very popular with tourists, of course, and it's the pinnacle of hospitality in Greece. And then it was 2017, and I decided to do a stage in Denmark in a restaurant called Cocriet, which was 1 Michelin star back then, just to gain a bit more experience and see how this level is. So I went to Denmark, I spent a couple of months there, and it was a very eye-opening experience because that restaurant was having just a tasting menu, which was 20 courses with 6 different wine pairings and non-alcoholic pairings, so it was very overwhelming. But it was very eye-opening, and I realized that if I want to grow in the industry, I need to start studying wine because that was the next logical step, let's say. So I went back to Greece and I started the WSET courses, level 1 and 2. And from then on, in 2018 December, I came to London because I thought I need this international exposure. And if you speak English, London is the place to go. So I've been in London ever since 2018. Yeah.
Well, it's a really short time. You know, you've had all this really excellent experience in hospitality at a very high level, as you said, you know, in Copenhagen and Mykonos. You were at the Beaumont for a while in London, and now you're the head sommelier and the wine buyer at Da Terra. So what do you think really contributed the most to your success, you know, such quick success at such a high level in the food and beverage sector?
To be honest with you, I think if it was intentional, it would never happen. So I think it came through the process really, and because I really like what I'm doing, so I'm always trying to improve in any workplace I am or learn more things, and then it paid off eventually in a way. So I started in the Beaumont here in the UK. That was my first job, but I left after the first lockdown. And I started then in Da Terra because I thought I like hotels, but probably it's not the right place for me at this stage of my career. So I thought a restaurant would give me a better exposure to wine and also different style of service. So I started in Da Terra in 2020 and I've been there ever since, so almost 5 years now. And I grew through, let's say, the ladder. So now I'm looking after the wine buying, the wine program. I'm a restaurant manager as well, but we are a small restaurant, so it's quite doable, let's say. And we have two other restaurants, so I'm looking after the wine lists there as well. And I mean, it's been pretty exciting so far in that area because I grew in and with the restaurant because we're a very new restaurant. So we opened in 2019. So I joined straight after the first star, and I was part of the team that got to the second star. So we've been thriving ever since.
That's amazing. It's you can see your hard work, like your dedication to it. I love to see people who are, really at the top of what they're doing and they still love it. It really shows in everything that you say. So, you said you're a serious wine student too. You got your diploma from WSET in 2022. You got your advanced sommelier from the Master Court of Sommelier in London in 2024. So you've been working hard and studying hard for the past few years. So I'm interested because how important do you think this kind of formal wine education is these days? There's a big debate around the world at the moment about the relevance of traditional wine education and traditional wine language. Where would you like to see sort of formal training go in the future?
Well, I think it's a big discussion, first of all, but I feel it's really important to get educated because that's a base of everything. And as long as you get this education, then you can build on this personally. And of course, experience and education, when they come together, that's the perfect match, right? Because you have the strong base, and then through your experience and through learning new things, you can grow and learn and build more things. And of course, it's a big discussion in the industry because, especially in the wine world, I feel we have the sommeliers that have the experience, but they don't have any formal education. Then we have the sommeliers, which are very educated but probably lack a bit of experience. But then you have this perfect mixture when you combine it. It's a very good, let's say, uh, level to be, and it's what it's needed really. Because to be honest with you, you need to know what you're talking about. And when you have a wine when you have a wine certification, either diploma, WST, or the Court of Master Sommeliers, or the ASI Diploma, this is something that certifies that you have this knowledge. You passed an exam, so you know this base. And after that, of course, you can do whatever you want in your job, but at least you know the basics. And I think it's very important, definitely.
Yeah, it gives you credibility. I think
Yes, exactly.
it makes me happy to hear you say this because you're young. I'm a WSET educator, and my colleagues and I talk about this a lot. How are we still relevant? How can we, be more relevant and keep it going? But I'm glad to hear you say that because I do think that some of these really fundamental um, courses like WSET or Court of Master Sommelier they give you credibility, and you need credibility to get experience as well. So I think I agree with you, and I'm really happy to hear you say that.
Yeah, I think it's the reality, and I haven't finished my diploma yet. I started it in 2022, but I've been combining it with my Court of Master Sommelier advanced exam at the same time, which I would probably not recommend to people doing this because it's two very different exams, and while you're working, it can be very demanding. But I think those are different aspects that get you understand the wine world because WSET sees the market from a different aspect, and Court of Master Sommeliers is more focused to a restaurant service, but technically you're talking about the same thing from a different way. So it's a very, very strong foundation to have, definitely.
Absolutely, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think I'm a sommelier too, it's certified here in Italy, and I think combining those two different perspectives is really useful to people who really want to go into the industry. Maybe if you're just a wine lover, you don't need them both, but I think if you want to be in the sector, it's useful to have two perspectives.
Yeah, exactly. And those are both two very uh, highly recognized as well. Let's say certification. So even guests in restaurants understand what it is about. I very often get questions, oh, tell me more about your pin because I wear my advanced sommelier pin at work. And people are interested, and this gives them more confidence to trust you also with their wine choices. And you can have a more open conversation as well. So
And their
it
money.
opens this door
Yeah, and
as
their
well.
money, of course. So
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah.
exactly, exactly. Well, let's talk about the IWSC for a minute because I did a little bit of research. I'm a big stalker. In the broader context of the IWSC UK Sommelier of the Year competition, they don't really say the exact number of past women winners. But we know that this year in 2025, just last month, two out of the three finalists were women, yourself and another woman, and five out of the 10 semifinalists were women. So this made me really happy. You know, it points out a growing trend of women participating and especially succeeding in the competition. So tell us a little bit about your experience coming up through the sommelier ranks as a young woman. You know, did you find it challenging to be a woman in that environment? Did you have any great mentors? How did it go for you?
I mean, I've been working in the industry in different, let's say, sectors throughout my career, but always on the floor and in relation to wine and beverage. And yeah, definitely there's less female in the industry, hospitality and wine industry. And I guess there's a few reasons behind that because it's not an easy industry to be in the first place, being a male or female. So that's why we see less and less people overall choosing it as a career, I feel. And then, of course, wine industry was always male dominated, and that's a cultural thing probably, but it has changed a lot the past, I would say, like 5-10 years at least. And then in the UK you can see a lot of initiatives like Curious Vines by Queen Wong, who is supporting openly females that are studying for exams, competitions, master wine, master sommelier. So that's a good thing to happen, of course, in the industry. But personally, I don't think I found any particular struggles myself in the industry, and I've been always very respected by my colleagues. But of course, it depends what type of character you are, I guess. So we're all different, so it's hard to talk about everyone. But to be honest with you, in that era, I'm the only female in the team at the moment, and I've been the only female for a while, not on the floor, but in the whole restaurant team. And I don't still find it challenging, to be honest with you. You need to gain this respect, and as long as you gain this respect, it doesn't really matter, I feel.
This is really good news. This is great news. Obviously, I started in the wine sector a lot earlier than you, a long time ago, and it was a lot more challenging. I think there were a lot fewer women in the room at the time, and I see it changing here in Italy as well, which is also a good sign. There are a lot more young women in the sommelier courses, also in the WSET courses that I work with. So I'm happy to hear that as a trend. And I think you're absolutely right. People like Queen Wong, I do a little bit of mentoring for her. She has had a huge impact, and her big survey about women in the industry had an impact. And it's nice to hear that someone at your age and stage in the game is very comfortable. You feel respected. It's important. I think going forward, this is going to be something that the more we see of women like you, the more we will see of women in our industry, because more women will feel safe and comfortable, deciding to get into it. So I hope we will see more people, sort of following your path. I wonder, what would you say to a young woman who wanted to get into the food and beverage sector, aiming for a high level like you have achieved? What sort of advice would you have?
I feel it's like any other sector, really, because when you go to a workplace, you need to try and prove yourself, and then you gain this respect and become successful if you want to become successful and grow in any industry. And I really feel with this competition, especially this year with a strong female representation, that was a very good sign for other female, and I feel the impact will be very strong in the future, because seeing five female doing really well, it's a good motive for other female to compete or consider it more as something which is a career that they can follow. So definitely we haven't realized the impact of it, but it's quite strong.
Yeah, absolutely. I think young women will see that it's achievable. They can do it. You know, other young women are doing it. So it was great to watch the video playback of the end of the competition and to see you were super cool, calm, and collected. Uh, so it's nice to see you, you know, having that presence on a stage, you know, presence at your work, and I think it does. It makes people feel that that's something they could achieve too. So again, huge congratulations on that one.
Thank you. I mean,
Well,
I looked very calm and collected, but of course I stress out a lot. I probably don't show it that much, I guess.
that's
But
the
yeah,
key. That's the key to success.
I
Don't
think
sell
I
it.
think so.
Well, the whole, you know, the recent few years have really been a big tribute to all your hard work and your skills and your, you know, knowledge that you've gained and your professionalism that you've gained. And you were in the top 100 UK sommeliers in 2023 already, and ranked in the top 5 female UK sommeliers. And in 2024, you were runner up at the UK Ruinart Sommelier Challenge, and you came third in the IWSC. And this year you won, obviously.
Yeah.
So what's next? You've done everything.
Well, the
What's
thing
the
is, I
goal?
feel I did everything very fast, I think. So it didn't give me a lot of time to process the whole journey so far. But yeah, it's been actually, well, as you're describing it, in 2023, I think I was ranked number 47 in the top 100 sommeliers. And I thought, oh wow, that's a big achievement because I'm quite new in the industry. I don't have a lot of experience and it's very exciting. And then the year after, in 2024, I'd like to say I was number 21, but I won the non-alcoholic, no and low alcoholic drinks award, the innovation award, and that was really good because we do a lot of non-alcoholics in Da Terra, and it's quite good to show this aspect of our industry as well, that it's something diverse. And then this year, to my surprise, I came second. So in 3 years, it is very doable to move up the ranks if you're consistently improving and trying, let's say. But yeah, even with the IWSC competition, last year was my first time competing. And the only reason I competed was because I passed my advanced sommelier exam. And I thought it's a good motive for me to keep studying. So I thought, okay, maybe I can see where I stand next to other people, which I look up to. And then I ended up on stage, which I was a bit unprepared for. So it came as a shock for me. But it was very eye opening as well. So this gave me a motive to go back and try again. And this year I tried to approach it a bit differently because I thought that I need to be more myself, a bit more relaxed. I have the knowledge, so I just have to go and enjoy it really. And it worked out. So, yeah.
Yeah, it worked out well.
Yeah,
So what have you
it
got?
did.
Can you tell me the top 3 kind of goals and aspirations you've got? You know, if when I call you up in 5 years, in 2030, what do you want to be doing?
Well, I'd like to say I want to be a Master Sommelier by then, but I haven't started yet with that because this is an invitation only exam, so you need to be invited. There's a waiting list for it. But I think in 5 years' time that would be something to be done with. And I don't really know, to be honest with you, the rest because I try to take it slowly and do one step at a time, even though sometimes the steps kind of overlap each other. But I really like my job and I'm happy with being in a team that is very passionate and is growing, and we open new restaurants and it's very exciting to be part of it and grow with the team and in the team. So definitely I still want to be working in a restaurant in 5 years time, but I want to be more involved in education in a way because it's good to give back to the industry. And I feel when I started, I was always, and I still do actually, I look up to people and I'm going to master classes. I want to be inspired by other people, their path, and I always take the good things and trying to improve myself. And I want to be this type of person for somebody else who is new to the industry as well, because it's really difficult sometimes. You need to find your way in the industry. Nobody comes and takes you and explains to you how it works. So it's good to have people to look up to and be inspired.
That's a really good point. Yes, this is not an industry where somebody is going to hand you anything. You have to find your own way. I like what you said about that. Let me cycle back just for a second about what you said about the low and no alcohol, because that's of course another big debate within our sector. What are you doing at Da Terra with no and low alcohol? Have you got many on the list, or how are you addressing that?
So Da Terra is a tasting only menu restaurant. So wine pairing and non-alcoholic pairing is very popular. But then we have non-alcoholic options that somebody can order a la carte. So on the wine pairing, on the non-alcoholic pairing, we are trying to have everything bespoke and made in house. So it's different infusions, teas, kombuchas, sparkling teas now. So we don't really pour any non-alcoholic wine by itself. And I don't list any non-alcoholic wine at the moment. And I'd like to say I haven't been very excited about any product so far. And I think the price is a bit restrictive probably. So it makes it a bit difficult because they're very expensive wines, and I understand it because the process of making them is even more complex than making a conventional wine. So that's one reason. And then from the non-alcoholic options a la carte, we have quite a wide selection with different infusions, again, sparkling teas, oxymelts. So there is something for everyone to choose from. And I would say it's quite popular. And it's popular not only with people who don't drink at all, but with people who want to drink a bit less. So you can see nowadays people who would go for a glass of champagne as an aperitif, choose something non-alcoholic before they do the wine pairing, because everyone drinks a bit less, a bit more in moderation. So I feel it is a trend.
Yeah, it's very interesting, especially in a 2 Michelin-star restaurant, that you're addressing the low and no alcohol concerns of consumers at a very, very high level. Do you see no alcohol wines ever appearing on some of the top lists in London? Obviously not on yours at the moment, but are they?
Well, not in mine, but not in mine at the moment, as you said. But definitely, I can see them being listed. But then it's a bit difficult because there's a lot of product out there. And actually, this year I did judging with IWSC for low and non-alcoholic wines, and it was really interesting to see the diversity and the styles. But I still feel there's more to be done in that sector to make them even more popular, let's say.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think the price issue is definitely something that is affecting the uptake at a high end on no alcohol or low alcohol wine. So interesting to get your perspective. I'm really grateful for you to sharing all of this with us and your time, of course, today. I know you're a very busy woman, so I won't keep you, but congratulations again. And we want to wish you all the very best on everything you do. And next time I'm in London, which will be October, I'm going to have to come to Da Terra and see you.
Well, please do. I'm sure I will be there because I do every service, so I'm always on the floor.
All right. Well, you take care.
Perfect.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening, and remember to tune in next Wednesday when I'll be chatting with another fascinating guest. Italian Wine Podcast is among the leading wine podcasts in the world and the only one with a daily show. Tune in every day and discover all our different shows. You can find us at ItalianWinePodcast.com, SoundCloud, Spotify, Himalaya, or wherever you get your pods.